making videos about this? You better believe it. I'll keep doing it until the developers fix it, because they still haven't, and it's insane to me. So what are we talking about? We are talking about Royal Trials. Royal Trials is currently on. It's almost done, and I thought that I would release this information so that maybe you can use it in the next one when the developers still don't change this mode. So if you don't already know, I will catch you up. You can look up Royal Trials on my my channel, and basically every single iteration of Royal Trials for me is this. It's just like the two decks to use are the Alchemist deck and the Lightning Mage deck. But in one of my current iterations of my Royal Trial videos, I started like having fun with this. And I'm starting to realize that Tesla is amazing. So Tesla is, I keep forgetting to switch it to this one. This is probably, whenever receiving a charge above the maximum or when a boss appears, a charge Tesla will become overcharged and will receive. Yeah, this is much better. I keep accidentally running Protective Field for no reason, for literally no reason. Definitely run Energy Power Up. But this is the best version of this deck. I'm willing to go on record saying this. I finally upgraded my Amulet of Weakness. And so if you don't understand how this deck works, essentially you're using Alchemist as a kill condition. You're using Invigorating Elixir specifically because all of your damage from your alchemists are coming from the puddles, and you want to throw as many puddles as you possibly can, and that is only affected by your attack speed, obviously, and then you'll be able to throw more as you spawn in more and more alchemists, and as you upgrade them. I use thermonuclear reaction, so even if I have to merge or boost the merge rank of an alchemist, I still get the count that goes towards the invigorating elixir, so that when you get to 50, they get a single buff of 25% speed. As opposed to Successful Experiment, which just means that you get a chance to throw 2 invigorating elixirs at your own units randomly, and that doesn't matter. Whenever it throws anything, it's fine, but it's not a bonus that you'll notice. What you need it for is the thermonuclear reaction, so that you can use Alchemist whenever you want to, as opposed to waiting for them to brew and then doing something so that you get the extra credit of the extra stack. But obviously what you're using it for is Golem. It acts as a trainer. It acts as a win condition. You'll see me use it as a win condition here, although there's a part of me that thinks he probably would have died anyway. I just made sure of it. You'll see it at the end. I use, specifically for Dryad, you're going to use Fairy of Growth as opposed to Fairy of Rage. You don't need the extra damage. You just need the extra fairy, Dryads. You just need the extra Dryads to constantly upgrade everything that you need to upgrade. Harley Quinn doubles as a placement. So you're using J for the J tiles. This strategy really works if you have a J that's a level 10, specifically because you have the sudden shot ability, and that is what is going to that's what makes this entire deck work. Specifically, the original iteration is a Lightning Mage variant, and that's how this got found out. Because this is Royal Trials, you have the ability to run really high-level common units as opposed to your regular units. So Lightning Mage you can run at level 13, and then the upgrade to that was Thunderer. Some people were subbing in Lightning Mage for Thunderer, and then you can infinitely run this deck. There's no cooldown on any of these cards. Alchemist Triad, Harley Quinn, Trapper. Some variants use Summoner. Some variants use Earth Elemental for the Alchemist variant. And you can either spec it to either be a Alchemist deck, with Earth Elemental and Trapper and Summoner, or you can spec it to be a Lightning Mage variant, which is Lightning Mage and Banner or Night Statue, and you can do it like that. what I've created is a hybrid of the two that I really, really like. Specifically because it allows me to use I think that there are better things than Lightning Mage. I think Lightning Mage does what you want it to do. It has an incredibly high attack speed, and that's what you want to get the J hits. But I do think that there are just straight up better cards, and I've been playing around for the last couple of Royal Trials with legendaries, and I've tried a good number of them, like all of the obvious ones to try, and I think that I figured out like a cycle. So I really like Tesla as the best one. I do think that Boreas is a close second, and then I think that a Dark Inquisitor is really funny as well. And you're basically just putting them on J tiles and winning the game. With a J tile, with a sudden shot, your J just does so much excessive damage because you have the ability to put all of, all of those units onto J tiles. And those are the fastest attacking units. You can run Vampire. I've tried doing that, but since Vampire isn't an active attacking unit, yes, you get the attack speed, and then yes, you get the J activations, but because it's not doing damage as well, it's not doing the entire thing isn't doing a lot of damage. There's an argument to be made if you can play a Riding Hood efficiently, you could probably try to use that, but then that involves you constantly summoning in on J tiles and then summoning out and then summoning in and then eating that and then summoning away from it and then summoning in. It's kind of like now you're playing like a growth tile game that I just don't have the time for. I'd rather just use all of my Dryads to level up something on a J tile and then just have it be done. So I think that Tesla just works really well with this deck because you're merging out and merging up and combining everything around Teslas, and that's how Tesla works. So you basically use all of your Dryads on your Teslas. The reason why I created this variant was because I was using J, and I was trying to put Alchemists onto J tiles and using it that way. I think you can use Mari instead of J for the Alchemist specific deck, but what I was doing was I was trying to put Alchemist onto J tiles to give it more attack speed, and it just never seemed to feel like it mattered. This variation minus like a Trapper and replacing it with Summoner, I think is the much worse version. I was running that for a very long time, and I think that Trapper gives you so much extra damage as well as slow, so that if you are playing a mirror match, you could theoretically win against a person who decided to use Summoner instead, and then you can use, because your Trapper is also slowing everything, but it's also just adding so much damage that you don't have when you decide to run Summoner in that place instead. Harlequin also gives you, not only are you able to copy everything, but you're also able to copy something when it is on. So if you get like a Harlequin on a J tile, you can then use that Harlequin to copy something else that you would want on that J tile. Obviously, now your problem is getting rid of the Harlequin debuff. Technically, it doesn't necessarily matter to get rid of the debuff. You're using it more for the attack speed and the J activated effect. But on my Amulet of Weakness, I did spec it with Forest Faction, which is probably the most useful spec because for a counterspell, because you will probably always run Dryad in every deck. And the way that counterspell currently works, even if the unit didn't die, the boss or mini boss didn't die from the Forest Faction or Magic Council in this case, as long as a Forest Faction or Magic Council dealt damage, you still get the effect. You still get the effect with a 10% chance, with a 10% chance of removing a negative effect. So that 10% chance is still there. But you don't have to have a Forest Faction or a Magic Council destroy the boss or mini boss. you just have to have it damage. And so, as you'll notice, this is a Technogenic, and this is a Technogenic as well. The only Forest Faction units I have in here are the Trapper and the Dryad. And so as long as the Dryad or the Trapper deals damage to a boss or mini-boss, you still have a 10% chance of removing a negative effect from literally any unit. It doesn't even just only go to Forest Factions or Magic Council. It's any unit. It activates, it finds a random unit, and then it cures it. If you do have Counterspell and you are running Harley Quinn, make sure that you try to not have... and you like Harley Quinn Dryads, get rid of those Dryads first, because that Harley Quinn debuff on a Dryad is also something that could be what's it called? Cleansed as well. And so you obviously don't want your Dryad with a Harley Quinn debuff to be cleansed, to be the one that gets cleansed. And so make sure you use those first as quickly as you can. But I'm going to go into this game, and then you'll understand, if you've never seen it before, and if you have seen it, you'll understand how this works. This is a pretty good game, and it's basically one of the last ones that I'm probably going to play. I'm actually playing a different variant, which is also popping up, and this is a Hunter deck, specifically because of the, it has the high attack speed, and so they just put it on a J tile, and then they're using large prey, which is the reason to use it. Yeah. And then the reason why I'm running Amulet of Weakness as opposed to any other amulet, one, it has the counterspell, but more importantly, I would still use the Amulet of Weakness anyway, because the only tiles that you should completely care about are the J tiles. See, on his board, he's getting both J tiles and strength tiles for his magic amulet, but and it can overlap, which is what's happening right below the level 3 knight statue, and it has the chance to overlap, and if it overlaps, that's good, but it's not going to make you really want to use those other tiles, because you'd rather use the J tiles. And so I decided to streamline my deck to where I'm using Amulet of Weakness, and I only care about the growth tiles, and every so often, because there are so many J decks running around, because these are the best decks, every so often you have the ability to mess up their J tiles as well. And I'd rather mess up their J tiles as opposed to having like an extra growth tiles or extra magic amulet tiles. And so that's that choice there. You do have to basically just keep summoning in, and then just keep moving everything around. I got really unlucky in this beginning. Right here I have the Harley Quinn, which I can then just copy a Tesla, and then have that Tesla be right there. And then I just super upgraded it to level 4, and then I trusted that at some point it was going to get cleansed. The thing with Tesla is you always want to upgrade them before you do anything around them. How Tesla works is it becomes overcharged, and it has higher attack speed, higher damage, if the amount of merges around it are equivalent to its level. So right now I have a level 4, but he only has 2 charges, which means I have to have I have to merge or upgrade 2 things around it for it to get to an overcharged state. You can see on the top, there's a level 1 Tesla that is not overcharged and a level 1 Tesla that is. You can tell, even just in that the one on the right is attacking just a little bit faster. And that difference starts to become very, very noticeable as you go up into the ranks. I also like this build because you're able to get rid of all your Dryads and not just use them on Alchemists. I'd rather late game use them on Alchemists as opposed to just using them just because. alchemists with the golem are not going to do very much for you in the beginning of the game. They're specifically a late game kill condition. You can use it early game, but it's not going to do anything for you because you don't need it. It's not going to do anything to them because they're insta killing everything. And so you're basically going to use all of your dryads to make all of these different suggestions in terms of Tesla, in terms of what's it called? Boreas. If you're going to use the Boreas variation, you're going to use all of that to get to level 4s. And I feel like level 4s are pretty solid. Obviously, if you can go higher than that, it's good. And there's a moment in here where I was really hoping to merge 2 level 3s to get a level 4 Dryad because I had a level 4 Harlequin. And then I ended up getting the Dryad. I was able to level 5 2 of my things. That felt so good. But yeah, basically, you're just gonna want your alchemist to just sit there. You're Harlequining all of your Dryads. You only really need 2 trappers. If you are running the Boreas variation, do not upgrade Boreas. If you have the extra mana, you can. But the only thing that that Boreas level upgrades do are damage. And so the amount of damage that you're getting from Boreas is not a lot. You're using it specifically for its attack speed. So you don't ever feel like you need to upgrade Boreas's mana. But in the terms of like Dark Inquisitor or Tesla, you're definitely going to want to upgrade their attack because they have much higher attack than a Boreas. It's going to do much more for you. Like, look how fast these level 4s are attacking. Right here I have a level 3, I get the level 4, I'm able to level 5 both of those, and then all I need right now is a merge in that corner. And I was trying to hope for a trapper so that I could just merge the trapper, because like I said, you only really need 2 trappers, and then I end up getting the trapper right there. And it gives me another trapper, which is amazing. They switch to 5s, they are overcharged, and then you can see it just delete this wave. The thing I like about having this as a variant is you don't rely solely on the alchemists stopping the waves. When you run the alchemist variation, you're basically trying to just merge and upgrade alchemists your entire game. With this, you can sit on a lot of mana. And it makes your J-Tiles feel a lot better than in that deck. I just always felt like I was running out of mana in the other deck. And my last, I think this is the last boss. My last point of advice is, this is the point where you have, I have 2 level 5s, a level 3, a level 4. I already have enough strength. Now I'm switching focus to Dryads. Actually, I guess I upgraded that because I had a 3, and now I have 2 level 4s and 2 level 5s. Now I'm going to switch focus to Alchemist, at which point I'm just going to summon in, save mana, and then plan out when I'm going to golem them, in the case that he survives this. Right now, this is basically how you know that when you golem them, it's going to do a lot of damage. Kitsune is a really bad boss, because if they can't kill the Kitsune, they are going to just keep getting bossed and bossed and bossed and bossed. What you're doing is you're waiting for this timer to go to 3 seconds, and then you just do as much as you can. You upgrade, you combine, you upgrade, you combine, you just do literally everything, and they will, all of those golems will spawn in before the boss. You might be able to do it at 4 seconds. I really like the 3 second, and then that's how that works. Only do it if the boss that is going to happen, if there are two conditions for when you decide to golem. One is they are already dying to the wave. So like in that last wave, it looked like they were already going to die, which means that they're not going to be able to kill off your golems very easily. And number two, is the next boss problematic? Is it if it's a tribunal, I wouldn't do it. If it's a what's it called? If it's a tamer, I wouldn't do it. But if it's a problematic boss, a warlock, an assassin, a king pudding, a dark priest, a kitsune, like just literally anything that has a continuous effect that just keeps getting worse and worse if they can't deal with it. Anything like that, that's when you're going to want to do it. So if they are losing to the wave and the next boss is problematic, that's when you are just going to sacrifice and launch all of your alchemists. And what's ironic is that normally if you're playing just the regular straight alchemist build and you decide to do this and they beat the wave, you now have nothing. But in this variation, because you're not touching your J-tiled things, you still have a chance to come back in the next game or in the next round. So even if they do manage to somehow take out all of your golems and the boss, and they are still alive, you still have a backup because you have a strong attacker on your J-tiles, and it's still going to do massive damage for you. But yeah, until the developers decide to patch this and fix this problem, I'm just going to keep running it, and you should too.